The last chart here is just a performance chart, year-to-date returns, and just wanted to show you where Bitcoin is. It's been the best performing asset this year. And I'll close right now by featuring two pieces we've put out recently. Both of them, interestingly, are on Bitcoin as we get ready for, hopefully, the SEC's approval of a spot Bitcoin ETF. We think it is going to happen. There are all kinds of signals that it's going to happen.
There are several financial experts and prominent investors in the cryptocurrency industry, but Cathie Wood's dogged optimism about Bitcoin is particularly contagious. Not only is the Ark Invest founder and chief executive officer an asset manager like no other, but her willingness to back up everything she says with adequate research from the strong Ark Invest team sets her apart from others. At the moment, Cathie and Ark Invest are focused on 5 innovation platforms: robotics, energy storage, artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, and multi-omic sequencing. The renowned hedge fund manager describes these 5 as the most disruptive innovation platforms ever known to man, each one made even more lethal because they are developing and evolving together. In partnership with 21 Shares, a renowned financial technology company, Ark Invest is launching several crypto-based exchange-traded fund products. Most popular are their spot Bitcoin and Ether ETFs, which are still awaiting approval by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. After months of back and forth and sometimes nerve-wracking silence, Wood is more than happy to announce a shift in the SEC's attitude toward crypto-asset-based spot ETFs, especially for Bitcoin. According to Wood, there has been a complete change in the Commission's attitude. As we approach the final January 10th deadline, the renowned hedge fund manager is certain that the cryptocurrency industry is finally about to get a spot Bitcoin ETF. In addition, Wood is certain that we won't just be getting one spot Bitcoin ETF, but several approvals at once to ensure fairness between all firms that have submitted applications to the SEC. Ark Invest recently published the latest episode of Cathie's monthly In the Know video broadcast, during which she discusses fiscal and monetary policies, market signals, economic indicators, and the hottest news in innovation, which is, of course, tightly wound around Bitcoin and spot Bitcoin ETFs. In her video, Cathie points out that Bitcoin is yet again the best-performing asset of the year. Prior to the turmoil of 2022, Bitcoin was the best-performing asset of the decade between 2011 and 2021, during which it earned an average annual return of 230%, 10 times higher than the Nasdaq 100, the second best-performing asset class of the decade. With the expectation of the chaotic atmosphere of 2022, it would seem Bitcoin is about to extend its record as the best-performing asset of not just a year, but the entire decade. We will now bring you clips from the video as Cathie details how all other asset classes are following Bitcoin's lead and what she expects as we head into the new year. Please watch, share, and like this video. Also, ensure you subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications, and drop your comments and observations in the comments section below. Thanks, and enjoy the video.
The last chart here is just a performance chart, year-to-date returns, and just wanted to show you where Bitcoin is. It's been the best performing asset this year. And you can see where other categories of equities and fixed income have been. It's been a pretty good year overall. Bitcoin having an especially good year, and I think it's because in March we learned that Bitcoin is not just a risk-on asset. It is a risk-off asset. And why is it a risk-off asset? It's a risk-off asset because there's no counterparty risk. When everyone was worried about their deposits in the banking system, in March, they were worried because of counterparty risk. Banks are opaque, whereas the Bitcoin blockchain is transparent and it's decentralized, where banks tend to be centralized. So a huge proof of concept. So this realization, wait a minute, Bitcoin is a risk-on asset and a risk-off asset? That's crazy. We don't have too many of those. So pretty interesting. In terms of the sectors that have done well this year, I was surprised. As you know, we are index agnostic, and we think that sectors are converging because technology is blurring the lines between and among them. But if you use the GICS classification, you'll see real estate in the last month, real estate, industrials, and financials have been the best three categories. The reason I was surprised by that is it was a very good period for innovation-based strategies like ours, which are index agnostic. That typically isn't the case when real estate, industrials, and financials are the best performing categories. Worst were energy. It was the only negative sector, consumer staples, and healthcare. So those last two are more defensive categories. That does make sense in the context of how innovation-based strategies like ours performed. So it's been a great rebound from the lows in October, just a massive rebound, and has transformed the year for a lot of asset managers, either for the better or for the worse. And if we're right, and inflation is going to surprise on the low side of expectations, and growth disappoints, we'll be in a period where innovation does its best. Innovation solves problems. If you need to protect your margins as your pricing power disappears, then you need productivity enhancing technology. And with the breakthroughs in artificial intelligence, and we marvel all the time about the breakthroughs in AI as AI training costs drop 70% per year. There's a boom out there, and that is what happens when prices drop. And prices associated with disruptive new technologies always fall. So it's a perfect environment for our companies to thrive. And I'll close right now by featuring two pieces we've put out recently. Both of them, interestingly, are on Bitcoin as we get ready for hopefully the SEC's approval of a spot Bitcoin ETF. We think it is going to happen. There are all kinds of signals that it's going to happen.
As Cathie has stated, Ark Invest is doing a lot more research and work on Bitcoin in anticipation of a spot Bitcoin ETF approval from the SEC. At this point, almost everyone agrees that a spot Bitcoin exchange traded fund will be very beneficial for Bitcoin and the overall digital assets space. During one of her most recent interviews with Yahoo Finance, Cathie noted that the chances of the SEC approving not just one, but several ETF applications have gone up considerably, especially over the past few weeks, that the Commission has been actively communicating with firms about their applications and stipulating the minor changes required to make this huge event a reality. According to Cathie, the Commission also has employed several experts who are very informed about Bitcoin and how it revolutionizes the financial system. During her latest In the Know broadcast, Wood also gives her outlook on the overall U.S. economy as we head into 2024. According to the Ark Invest CEO, the inflation battle is over, and the Federal Reserve is about to have a different but equally massive challenge to battle. Here are more clips from the video.
A chart showing what expectations have been for fourth quarter GDP growth ever since October. And you can see in the GDP now purple line there, the growth expectations have been coming down. Bloomberg expectations were very low and seem to have come up, but they're both converging into sort of the 1 to 1.25 range, which is very low, of course, and not too far from negative, which is where we would not be surprised to see real GDP growth go some point next year. Now, we got consumer sentiment measures today. You can see, just going back into the early 80s, you can see that consumer sentiment is quite depressed by historical standards. We did get a little bit of a pop today. We've been hovering in that 60 to 70 range, got closer to 70 with today's reading for this reason, expected inflation rates. So you can see that if you look at the 5-year, the longer-term inflation expectations as shown by the green line, they never really veered from where they've been since 2000, which was a disinflationary time. It was those short-term, the next year expectations that popped above 5%, which is not terribly unusual. The same thing happened as the Fed was stimulating in 2008. And then, of course, they came right back down. They're coming down again now. We had an unusually large decline. It had popped to something over 4%, and now we're back down to the low 3%. And you can see, again, that's not too far from where we have been. And yet the Fed has been fighting this inflation dragon. You'd think that expectations were where they were in 1980 and had been building for 15 years. We got to 10% inflation expectations then. We got nowhere near that. And yet the Fed, with a 24-fold increase in interest rates from 0.25 to 5.5% in little more than a year's time, has been slaying a dragon. We don't think that dragon existed. And we do think we'll see the ramifications of this policy during the next year or so in the form of much weaker than expected inflation and economic statistics. We wouldn't be surprised to see the broad-based inflation gauges go negative. And then, of course, the Fed will be fighting a completely different battle. Here is temporary help employment. You can see it's a leading indicator. The green line is total employment. Temporary help is the purple line. And by this time in past cycles, the total employment was about to turn down when temporary help had reached this kind of a decline. And we do think that will happen next year. That's part of why we think consumption will pull back.
The SEC first delayed its decision on Ark Invest spot Bitcoin exchange traded fund application on August 11th. About 8 weeks later, on September 26th, the regulator said it would designate a longer period on whether to approve or disapprove of a proposed rule change that would allow the operation of Ark 21 shares spot Bitcoin ETF. The Commission gave itself an additional 60 days to consider Ark's application, with a final deadline set for January 10th, 2024, exactly 240 days after Ark and 21 shares filed their applications. At that date, the SEC must announce its decision on Ark's spot Bitcoin ETF application. There will be no more deferring. According to recent reports from several credible sources, including Bloomberg analysts, the SEC is now preparing to announce the approval of several spot Bitcoin ETF applications on or before January 10th. Renowned hedge fund manager Mark Yusko believes BlackRock's approval will come on January 8th, 2024, but he is not very certain about Ark Invests and others. What are your thoughts on Cathie Wood's interview and her predictions for Bitcoin? Please drop your comments and observations in the comments section below. Also, ensure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos. Thanks for watching.
Hey Savvy Finance enthusiasts, massive shout out for being the heartbeat of Savvy Finance. Your support has been the wind beneath our wings, and we can't express our gratitude enough. Now buckle up because we've got an exclusive deal just for you. Ever wanted a slice of the action? We're offering a golden opportunity to own part of our YouTube channel's potential future revenue. This isn't just an investment, it's an invitation to be a part of our story. Investing means you're not just an investor, you will be a participant in the future of Savvy Finance. No cheesy lines, just a genuine call to embark on this journey together. But wait, there's more. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, become a Savvy ambassador. Share our videos on every platform: Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. Your shares amplify our visibility, potentially translating to more views and more YouTube revenue. Here's the kicker. If our viewership increases, we would not be just growing financially. We would be making a tangible impact by spreading valuable financial education. Now the icing on the cake. Invest and you'll score exclusive access to our private Savvy Finance Discord. Here you can chat with Savvy Finance, swap ideas with fellow investors, and be at the forefront of exciting developments. Click on the link below to register your Gigastar account. You can also find the link to my offering page in the description below. Get your Gigastar account ready, review the offering details, and let's embark on this thrilling venture together. To the incredible Savvy community, thank you for being the backbone of our success. Your journey is my journey, and together, we're creating waves. Cheers.